Hi, my name's Andy. I'm part of the Warley team for the DCC Concepts competition, and we're now going to do a how-to video. So we'll show you what we're doing, we'll show you the finished model, and then we'll show you how we built it. Okay, so I hope you liked the finished article. If you got December's issue of Railway Modeller, you'd have got this plastic kit free with the magazine. I'm sure you're about to get the magazine still if you go into your local shops or contact Pico. I'm sure they've got supply, and I'm sure they'll be pleased to send you one. Send you one in the post if you contact them. But yeah, we've got two of these kits which we're going to build. They're going to go on our DCC Concepts competition layout, so that's why we're doing the how-to video. And what I'm going to do now is a step-by-step guide to building these kits. We've also got this single box, and the principles for building this are exactly the same for the single box. Okay, a bit more involved, but it's the same sort of principles. So we're going to go on to building one of these as well. But these are great little kits. They're really easy to put together, and if you've never built a kit before, which is what this video is aimed at, it's a good start. And £4.60 for the magazine, you get the kit free. It's a great read, but you also get something to practice and have a go at. And if you make a mess of it, you've not lost nothing, because you've still got a great magazine to read. So what we're going to do, get rid of the box here, and we're going to make a start on the kit. Okay, so I've got the page open with the instructions in, so it's always important to read the instructions. So the first part of the instruction is to take all the parts off the sprue, then a bit of cleaning up, and then we'll glue it together. So that's the first three parts. We'll make a start on that now. Okay, so I've got my two kits out now in front of me. I'll get rid of one for now. All I'm using to start with is a craft knife, so I'll put a fresh blade in that and a couple of sanding sticks. So these are made by a company called Flooring Models. They're really good sticks. I'm not endorsed by Flooring Models. I do buy these, but they're great little sanding sticks. They're really easy to use. Different grades of so depending on sort of finish you want, depends how much you need to remove off the sprue. But I'm going to start cutting these out, and then we'll come back. So I'll speed this bit up because it's fairly straightforward. Just cut away from the item. Don't get too tight. So you got a tiny bit there, and then all I'm going to do is take this down so it's flush. Again, you're really just feeling for the run your finger along so it's nice and smooth. I can still feel something there, so I'm going to take a bit more off. And then once you're happy with it, turn over to the smoother side and just polish it up. So the idea is take away the edge there, so you can see the difference between that bit there where you got the lump there still, and that's quite smooth. And the finish is the most important bit. If you get this bit right, you'll find the kit will go together really well. If the kit isn't going together properly, it's because you've probably missed something. Okay, I'm happy with that, so just go around, make sure there's nothing else that's sort of sticking out that's going to cause an issue. Yeah, fairly pleased with this now, how it looks. There's just some tiny bits there on the inside of that, so I'm going to take these off with the blade. Okay, so that's the first one done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean the rest of the parts up. I'm going to speed the video up now, but I'm just doing the same thing again. So I'm going to speed all the parts, clean all the parts up now, and then we'll see what the next move is then. Okay, so that's all the parts cleaned up now on the wagon, so I'm pleased with that. So what I'm going to do is going to glue it together. So I'm going to start off with Tamir Extra Thin. In the magazine it said use plastic weld, which is that. I'm going to give this a go first because I get on really well with this. Different people will find different products better, but I'm going to try this one to start with. If it glues and works, I'll use it. If not, I'll go on to plastic weld. So the most important thing with any kit is you test fit the parts. So all this case is doing is putting the parts together and making sure they fit, and you're happy with the fit. So that's a fairly good fit there. So all I'm going to do is hold the parts together, try to do it without my finger being in the way. The idea is it's a weld action glue, so the idea is if you it's quite a thin glue as well, so what you'll find you'll do is if you touch the joints, the capillary action of the glue will run down the joint. I know my finger's in the way, but if you saw the glue, as soon as you drop it in, it spreads out, so it moves down the joint. In this case, run it down. Holding for a few seconds, letting go, and again do the same on this one. Just trying to hold the kit in a way, and so I can see what I'm doing and you can see what I'm doing as well. Okay, one thing you will notice, I've got finger marks there in the plastic, so I'm not going to touch those. I'm going to leave the glue to dry. You start messing with it, you'll make it worse. So that's just really where the glue's. I've been trying to hold it together to keep it in camera, and I've got glue. Obviously, the capillary action of the glue's pulled itself through the joint, but then we can clean those up afterwards. But the idea is just really to get the glue. Let the glue do its thing, and once it's gone off, put some more glue down the joint, down the inside of the joint. But the worst thing you can do is, if you do get fingerprints and glue marks, is to start trying to mess with it, because it'll just make it look worse. Okay, so that's the first one built. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave this now for a good half an hour, 40 minutes, let the glue completely go off, and then we'll come back and try and have a bit of a tidy up, especially where we've got, it's not so bad on this side, but on this side I've got a couple of fingerprints, so I'll get them cleaned off. So you can see one there, and there's one there, and a bit of excess glue there. So again, we'll go back and clean these up. So I'm going to put this to one side, I'm going to build the other one off camera, and we'll come back and have a look in a minute. Okay, so while those are gluing and drying off, the next thing to start looking at is the real thing. Look at the real world. So I've just gone on Google on my iPad and typed in brand new box fans, and there's loads of images, loads of pictures. So you can look at, you can see most of these are in the right state. So it depends when you're modelling. So it depends when you're modelling and what you're trying to achieve. But I think for what we're looking at something like that. So you can see there's some of the boards have been replaced. There's holes. It's in a poor state really. So that's the sort of the hope. Hopefully that's the sort of effect we're going to be looking for on these wagons. Again, on that one there, you can see where the panels on the end have been replaced with ply. Again, that's quite a nice effect on that one where it's been. But these are the real ones, real thing. Again, that's got steel ends, but you can see where the sides have been replaced. So they're not really brown; they're more grey than brown. So there you go. So that's what we're looking at. So let's see how we get on with the wagon now and see how it comes out. Okay, so what I've done, I've added the saw bars along the bottom, so when they sit on the floor it just fills that gap in underneath, so it looks a bit neater. So this one's dried off. Like I said, I did the saw bars underneath. This is quite a nice finish. This is the second one I did off camera. Must be the fact I had pressure on me under the camera with the first one, but the second one's gone together a lot better, a lot neater, no problem at all. The first one, what I'm just starting to do, I'm starting to hack it away now. So I'm took away some of the woodwork in this corner here. So that will go in. The idea being I can cut this up and put it as debris inside the wagon. All you need to do with this is pick where you want to cut it away, and use a very sharp knife and just take your time. And the idea being is to still leave this framework around the outside and just take away the planking. So if you pick a spot you want to do, so So if I do these two, I'm going to try and just do 2 panels if I can. So just in case you go along, letting the blade do the work, and then just score. You're not pushing down hard, you just like I said, just running the blade along the joints. And it does take this will take a while, to be fair, so I'm not going to bore you, but as you can see, I'm not pushing down at all on the blade. I'm just dragging the blade along where I want the joints, where I want to cut the wood away. There you go. So that's come out now. It's not perfect, it's not neat, but it's not designed to be neat, because don't get this, it's rotting away, it's falling apart. So, and again, I've started to scratch some of the panels up as well. So again, when I come to do the weathering, that will add to the effect. So I'm going to carry on working on this. I'm not sure how much I'm going to take away, because I don't. It's not being a double O gauge. It's not the thickest plastic in the world, so I don't want to take too much away. And then find it sort of loses its integrity and then just completely falls apart. Plus I want to leave something to weather as well, because otherwise you end up with just a framework with nothing left to weather out down. It's going to be more weather beat on the one side, which will be this side, but yeah, I'll come back and show you a bit more when I think there's a bit more work to it. Okay, so I've got the models. What I've done is I've took out, this one's the sort of, I suppose, pristine one, the better conditioned one, and this one is the one that's been battered. So we've got a hole there, we've got a couple of holes on the side there. I'm not going to take any more away, I think that would be enough, to be fair. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prime these with a very light coat of grey. So I'm using Tamiya XF54, but I've added a bit of white to it to give it a lighter grey finish. So first I'm going to do is just check the dry of the paint. Yeah, it's coming out fine. And I'm just going to give these a very light coat, and this will act as a primer. And the idea is just go around very lightly to start with. Very light coat. And out the way, so I can just work on the one. Then once the primer's on, we can have a look at it and see how it looks. So a bit of splattering on, but again, it's only the primer coat really, so it's and this one's supposed to look battered anyway, so I'm not really that overly bothered. I'm not looking for a flawless gloss finish on the model. I'm looking for something that's been in the field for a few years. Well, probably close to a few decades. So you can see it's really fine coats. Keeping the model moving. If it looks wet, stop, come away, go somewhere else. And what a difference a coat of paint makes. All that detail that's on the plastic sort of pops out. You can actually see where I've roughed up some of the woodwork with a blade. you go, and that's me out of paint. So that's the first one done. So I'm going to knock up a bit more paint and we'll give the other one a coat. And there you go, that's the other wagon primed. I'll leave these now a good 24 hours now to dry off, and then we'll come back and have a look at them. So I'm going to clean my airbrush and we'll come back 24 hours and see how they look, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so what I've done now is the primer coat's dried off. I'm going to give it a quick coat of buff just around the wooden panel sides and the edges, just to give it that wood effect colour, a basic wood coat. So first thing, just checking the flow of the paint, seems fine, so just a very light coating. Still want a bit of grey to come through, so I'm not going heavy coating with this. Yeah, that'll do. So that's the sort of effects I'm looking for, just like a pale wood colour. So when I go over, I'm going to use the airbrush technique on it now. That airbrush. So that's the buff coat on. Now I'm going to let this fully dry, and I can come around with, come back to it when it's fully dry, and I'm going to give it a coat of hairspray before putting the brown on, and hopefully we'll get that nice when I rub away the brown, because the hairspray will act as a barrier to stop the paint fully sticking. We'll be able to peel away some of the brown paint, and we'll get sort of a rough looking, worn down, battered, beaten, weather beaten wagon. So we'll come back to it once it's dry. Okay, the boxes, what I've done, so I left it all dry off, rubbed again, used the dark dirt wash, rubbed it off. What I've done is got some really fine grade sandpaper, cut it into strips 2 centimetres wide by 3.5 centimetres, which is the width for the roof. Glued it on with rocket card glue. I found out it worked best. Let it dry, and then what I did then, I got a small file, an old file, and just rubbed across the edges to get so it starts to, so it looks like the felt is peeling. I then got some where's the paint? So RLM grey Tamiya paint. Use that first, and added a touch of Vallejo green and a touch of Vallejo black, just to change the colours. And you can see where I've just gone over where the joins are and the top of the felt. And again, that's quite a nice, it took a very basic wagon, give you that sort of very distressed look. And then I've got one that's been, that's been in the yard, looks a bit better. Again, I might do some more weather into it. I'll see how it goes. I'm going to live with this for about 24 hours, and then I might come back and add a bit more to it. We'll see. But that's how they're looking so far, the two wagons. Okay.